Sol Solana coin explained. What is Solana crypto? Sol crypto, Solana token. So today we're going to take a look at Solana because this is one of the coins that my mentor is really focusing on. So I did a little bit of research, read the white paper, and here in this video I'm going to discuss what Solana is all about because there's a lot of partnerships, a lot of projects that are already on Solana, and looking at its rank, it is a really safe bet when it comes to investing in cryptos. But anyways, we'll get more into the details in the video. So right now, if you don't mind to do me this one favor, smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and now let's jump into Solana. Alright, like as always, when we do a review of these coins, the first thing we want to do is talk about what problem are they solving, because we need to find out what their use case is. Because having a problem and solving it is how any sort of business or project is going to make profit. Now the problem with current blockchains is that they do not keep time or depend on participants to keep time. Each node on the network usually rely on their own local time clock without knowledge of other participants' clocks in the network. Basically, the time that an event happened is lofty because of all those time differences. And if that didn't make sense to you right now, then don't worry. Let's use an analogy. Let's say we're all deciding to have a Zoom meeting between 15 people and everybody lived in different time zones. Well, if they don't decide on the time zone, then nobody is going to get together at the right time. Like 3 p.m. for me in Eastern time might be different for you who's living in Pacific time. And that's kind of one of the problems that Solana is trying to solve. With Solana's proof of history protocol, it actually creates a ledger with verifiable passage of time, so we know when things happened and everybody is on sync about it. Let's talk about the design. So when it comes to blockchains, there's actually something called leaders and validators and verifiers and all things like that. And the leader is the one that kind of takes the lead. It proposes a block, and all the other nodes who are verifiers will go and verify this block to say that, all right, the transactions are legit. So the leader gives a block of transactions for verifiers to verify. All right, we're square on that. Now the leader in Solana does something different. It sorts out all the messages or transactions and orders them to be processed by other nodes in the system, which maximizes the throughput. Throughput being the amount of work that is done. I mean, just imagine it. If we talk about a sorted assembly line and an unsorted assembly line, which is going to be more efficient? Of course, it's going to be the sorted assembly line. The unsorted assembly line is not an assembly line. It's just the house of a hoarder. Now, the verifier nodes will verify the transactions and then boom! If they are legit, they are added to the chain. And any verifier node in the set can be selected as the leader through proof of stake elections. Alright, now the thing that is unique about Solana is its proof of history consensus algorithm, which they define as a sequence of computations that gives us a way to verify passage of time between two events. It's basically just a function that records time, and events that have happened during that time can be placed into that time. So for example, we can see 4 p.m. and 4:01 p.m. as two blocks or two buckets. All the transactions that have happened on 4 p.m. goes into the 4 p.m. buckets, and vice versa for 4:01 p.m. All the transactions that happen in 4:01 goes into the 4:01 bucket. And this is what the algorithm guarantees. The entire 4 p.m. time and all the data that is in that bucket are used as input in a function to create the hash that is like an ID, which is used for the next bucket in 4:01 p.m. So the idea is that without the 4 p.m. and all the right data that goes into 4 p.m., we can't verify the correctness of 4:01 p.m. because a part of the puzzle that makes the 4:01 bucket correct and all the data in that correct comes from the previous 4 p.m. bucket and all its data that creates a sort of key that is used in the 4:01 bucket. So because 4:01 is invalid, all the time blocks after 4:01, they are also invalid as well because 4:01 was invalid. So every single bucket, every single time bucket depends on the bucket that came before them. And that's as deep as we'll go because that's pretty much the gist of it. And it's complicated, but it's not as complicated as my friend's divorce. Now, she came in like a wrecking ball. Now let's talk about proof of stake consensus. Now, proof of stake is something that is used in many other blockchains as well. Soon to be Ethereum, Algorand, Elrond, Harmony 1, for example. A lot of them uses proof of stake. Now, how Solana uses proof of stake is a little bit different from all the rest. Yet, at the same time, it is also similar to all the rest and how they use proof of stake. The proof of stake here is used and designed for quick confirmation of the output produced by the proof of history consensus algorithm, and for voting and selecting a new proof of history generator. Oh, and it also punishes misbehaving validators. Like how my mama punished me in the past with a feather duster. Now for Asians, we get hurt with feather dusters. Those things are dangerous. A feather duster is not the same as those Swiffer wet jets. Those Swiffer wet jets are just fun. Getting wet is always fun, but a feather duster, that's a freaking different story. If you smack the soccer player lawyer with a feather duster, they won't be just crying on the floor. Their family will be going to the insurance agent and asking for the insurance policy because they'd be dead. And I think this is a great time as ever to say that if you're looking for an insurance policy, your boy here is a licensed life insurance agent, so email him at support@coursehack.club. Like any other proof of stake system, when you try to stake, you actually have to bond some of your coins, some of your tokens, under your identity. Because if they're going to slash you, they need to slash that bond. And slashing is the punishment for taking away some of your coins when you misbehave. Now, bonded coins cannot be spent and they have to remain at the same place until the user decides to remove them. When you unbond these coins, it will actually force them to miss a number of votes to validate blocks. That'll make them go stale, at which time you, the user, can actually go and remove your bonded coin. And we just talked about slashing. Now let's define slashing properly. Slashing happens when kind of like a validator goes and votes for two separate sequences. So they're manipulating the system, and when they get caught, the punishment is that some of their bonded coins get taken away by the system and added to the pool, to the mining pool. Now let's talk about attacks for a bit. Now all of the proof of stake verifiers, all they do is confirm the state hash that is generated by these proof of history generators. So there's an incentive for them to just do no work and simply approve every generated state hash. Now to avoid this, at random intervals, the proof of history generator should inject an invalid hash to catch these verifiers off guard, and if they are lazing around and not doing anything and trying to game the system, then they get their stake slashed, which kind of gives them an incentive to actually do work. So it's like swiping on Tinder or Bumble. The lazy dude will just swipe right on all the girls that are presented using something like an automatic drill and a hot dog at the end of the drill. And if the system wanted to punish him, they would just slide in some transgender woman that's in their 70s and he will only match with them. Okay guys, I just want to take a quick pause to show you how I learned about cryptos. When I didn't know anything about cryptos, I got started with IM Academy. And there are some people that don't like them, but there's a lot of people that like them. And you can see here on my screen that they have hours upon hours of lives. They actually have the instructor come on a live session with you to teach you about indicators and how to trade and how to read the markets, what coins to look at, things like that. See that for some of the days, they actually have like 3 hours, which is actually most of the days, of content, of lives with you. And beyond that, if they don't have lives, you can actually go to the instructors and watch their favorite sessions, and you can see that they record their sessions so that you can learn while they're not having a live with you. Then please send me an email at support@coursehack.club and I'll see you in IM Academy. Here's my opinion. Now, according to the white paper, legacy blockchains like Ethereum don't scale. The apps that are built on top of them can't scale. Sure, we can get all the users we want, but until ETH 2.0 comes out, the bottlenecks causes fees to blow up along with the transaction wait times. Solana, on the other hand, is fast and costs less than a cent to do a single transaction. According to Solana, they are the most performant permissionless blockchain in the world. On current iterations of Solana's testnet, a network of 200 physically distinct nodes supported a sustained throughput of more than 50,000 transactions per second. Compare that to ETH, which only does right now, I think, around 30 transactions per second. It's a whole world of difference. Though with ETH 2.0, they are saying that they can get that up to 65,000 transactions per second. Anyways, Solana has a nice community and a lot of projects that are actually built on top of them. So it has a lot going for them. And they also have investment from Andreessen Horowitz, Polychain Capital, and Alameda Research, to name a few big investors. The ecosystem has attracted tens of thousands of developers to its network and broke world records for the most number of participants in a hackathon since its mainnet beta launch in March 2020. And I really think that that's the most important part. Stealing talent and getting them invested into your blockchain, that is what is most important, and Sol seems to be doing that very, very well. It also has 239 projects that are built on them or integrated with them, which is no easy feat. And if we look on CoinGecko, Solana is on rank 14, and I think that anything above rank 50 is pretty much a safe bet. They have a market cap of $7.3 billion and a max supply of only 488 million. That is big because max supply is something we always have to take note of, because if there is like a quadrillion max supply, then it's going to be really hard to make some money. On top of that, I want to show you that just a year ago on May 11, 2020, they were at 50 cents. And just a year later, on May 18, 2021, they hit their all-time high of $58.03. And now they're sitting at a price of $26.79 or $26.82. So this is half price right now from its all-time high pretty much. So Solana is very different from all the other smart contract chains like Ethereum, Algorand, Elrond, and etc. And I'm gonna be honest with you, it's not my favorite coin. That's probably because I just learned about it and just read the white paper. But I really do think that it is a legit coin, and it's seems to be a very solid hodl. Did I not remind you that right now we are still incredibly early in this crypto game? The mainstream has not even came in yet. Institutions are trying to manipulate the markets to take in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and Cardano, Solana is not even on the list as far as I know. So falling from its all-time high to now half price of its all-time high, I think it's a steal. But that's just my opinion. What do you think? If you own Solana, or if I missed something in this video, let me know in the comments below, because that'll help both me and the entire community. Other than that, if you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, check out these other videos on cryptocurrencies and passive income, and I'll see you next time. Peace!